Subscribe to Serving It Raw.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Just make sure the coke fire. Told the jeweler cut some links and bring the gold higher. He wanna shoot it, he hot-headed, he ghost rider. Send him through your shit like Robin Givens with the old iron. Swinging, fork in the glass pot clanking. Holding the boat, they ship sinking. I make one brick, two without blinking. They was sleeping, now I got them rethinking shit.
Yes, Lord.
You done tapped in the Serving the Raw podcast. I'm your host, Gutter Kane, the Gutter Man, the Pyrex Iron Chef. What's going on? I am back with another positive video. I want to give a shout out to Fat Joe, the Don Cartagena. So, a couple weeks ago, Fat Joe is fed up with the medical industry duping its patients into paying unfair prices. Personally flying himself from NYC to Washington D.C. to do something about it. So he said, you know what, I'm tired of this talking. I'm fixing to go out here and I'm fixing to help. So, also he did a concert. He partnered up with Power to the Patients. Yes. Which is a nonprofit organization that targets and tackles hidden healthcare fees. So there have been a lot of people that, you know, go to the different hospitals for whatever the case may be, and then you get your hospital bill in the mail, your medical bill, and then all of a sudden it has all these different little hidden fees and stuff like that. And then, you know, it's kind of happened to me and my wife at one point in time. Fat Joe is using his platform as a celebrity and as an entertainer to bring awareness to this. He did a Power to the Patient concert to bring awareness to it. So he was alongside Busta Rhymes, French Montana, and Rick Ross. So what we're going to do is we're going to check out the video of Fat Joe going to Washington, D.C., as well as give y'all a little bit of information about Power to the Patient and what this unfair hidden medical billing thing that they have going on, so that you can kind of see what they're fighting for and what they're trying to bring awareness to for us as a community.
Nothing can stop me.
If there's one thing rap superstar Fat Joe knows how to do, it's entertaining the masses. And tonight, it's a party with a purpose.
I'm excited about tonight, man.
The award-winning rapper bringing a few hundred friends together to cap off what's been a whirlwind visit to the nation's capital.
What brings you to D.C.?
Well, I'm out here fighting for the American people.
For 2 days, we tagged along as the 52-year-old, born Joseph Cartagena, marched on Capitol Hill, walked the halls of Congress.
So much history in this hall.
And held numerous meetings with lawmakers on both sides of the political aisle.
This is a bipartisan issue.
Calling for transparency in hospital billing.
And we say it often, but you just laid it out.
The rapper even making it to the White House.
I look at myself as an evangelist, spreading the word, the gospel of how important it is to show us the prices, because this isn't an issue that it affects all Americans. This is colorblind, this is religion blind, and I believe in the power of the people. When the people come together, they got to listen.
Fat Joe has been a loud advocate for transparency in hospital billing since a longtime friend who runs the nonprofit Power to the Patients tapped him to be a spokesperson a year ago. This is his second visit to the Capitol on the issue.
Why use your voice and your platform for this particular cause?
Because there's 100 million Americans that are in medical debt. I grew up in the South Bronx. I grew up in a very deprived, poor area. When I was down, my people fought for me and championed me to get to the level where I'm at. So I have an obligation to speak for the voiceless, so that therefore we can have competition in the hospitals and they can bring the prices down for your average American.
Fat Joe even bringing along other hip-hop favorites, Busta Rhymes, Rick Ross, and French Montana to help raise awareness.
Not only is he leading the charge of something incredible and great and powerful, but it's principally correct.
You should know right there, as soon as you walk into the hospital, you're going to have to sell your home to stay alive.
We don't want to go and get blindsided no more, so we're here to support the cause.
According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, 1 in 10 American adults owes medical debt. And the National Institutes of Health says exorbitant medical bills accounted for about 40% of personal bankruptcies in 2019. But even as healthcare costs continue to rise, advocates say hospitals have been reluctant to comply with the Trump-era federal rule requiring hospitals to list the cost of standard procedures. Members of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus standing with Fat Joe at the Capitol, calling for change.
Families deserve to have peace of mind knowing how much their health procedure will cost them ahead of time.
The federal agency tasked with enforcing the rule has imposed fines on 4 hospitals since former President Trump signed the Healthcare Pricing Transparency Executive Order in June 2019. As of last month, CMS has also issued 730 warnings to hospitals not in compliance. But Power to the Patient's research arm says its detailed analysis found that more than 70% of U.S. hospitals reviewed are still not in full compliance. The American Hospital Association telling Congress the pandemic impacted rollout.
Despite its complexity and lack of clarity, hospitals are eager to continue their compliance efforts.
Fat Joe's lobbying efforts on Capitol Hill coinciding with the landmark hearing in the House Energy and Commerce Subcommittee on Health.
We're considering bipartisan legislation to codify existing price transparency rules for hospitals and insurers.
A bipartisan push to strengthen enforcement. Fat Joe tells me the bill is one of many positive signs that this 2-day trip to the Hill may actually help bring about change.
Last year I came, it was just one gentleman who came to meet us. Today was about 25, 30 different congressmen and senators. And so I feel a momentum.
And I was just telling you, you're seeing it more and more now where celebrities are using their platforms to speak out on social issues.
Native Americans, black people, Latinos, but somehow it's always the black and brown community affected the most. And so I'm from the Bronx. The Bronx has protected me. New York has protected me. These are the voiceless people. A lot of time when my people in my community scream, it's like a dog barking at the moon. But at least they know they got somebody here who's willing to step up and fight for their rights, and fight for their families, and fight for their health. And this is not a rocket scientist thing. This is just show us the prices so we can know whether we want to go to this hospital or we want to go to the other hospital. And when you look at these prices, when you see a hospital that's compliant, you read the bill and you see what you get. Okay, this is the procedure, this is what it costs. When you go to a hospital that's not compliant, the math is mumbo jumbo.
I want to give a big shout out to Fat Joe Cartagena, you know what I'm saying, the Don, for everything that he's doing to bring awareness to that, as well as power to the patients. Like I said, we need to continue to fight for healthcare price transparency so we're not blindsided whenever we go to the hospital. And just like Rick Ross said, you don't want to have to make a decision at the damn hospital whether or not you need to sell your damn house just to stay alive. So like and subscribe to the channel, as well as comment below your thoughts on what Fat Joe is doing, as well as do you feel like any other rap artists or entertainers should not necessarily push what Fat Joe is doing, but just other issues that we are dealing with, and kind of bring more of a forefront to those type of situations that's going on in the U.S. And we are out of here. Peace.
People across America are fighting for the truth, fighting to be free of a healthcare system that is rigged against all of us. One that squeezes our wages and forces patients into debt. Our healthcare system is crushing the American dream by robbing workers, employers, unions, and families. Hospitals and insurers hide their prices so that they can gouge us, but prices are now a patient's right, and they're breaking the law whenever they hide them. So we call on all our politicians, from City Hall to state houses to Congress. and all the way up to President Biden to enforce the existing rules for price transparency so that we may create a more honest, equitable, affordable system. We demand transparency in healthcare. Nothing can stop us. Power to the patients.
Just make sure the coke fire. Told the jeweler cut some links and bring the gold higher. He wanna shoot it, he hot-headed, he ghost rider. Send him through your shit like Robin Givens with the old iron. Swinging, fork in the glass pot clanking. Holding the boat, they ship sinking. I make one brick, two without blinking. They was sleeping, now I got them rethinking shit.